right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky on your mind.
29 and I find myself wondering, what did happen to the last 10? I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life changes, just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours.
Well, good evening, everybody. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. And, oh, there I am. Hello. Raymond Delvin, I see you are there already. Thank you for joining. Anybody else that's new? I am meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Raymond, for your question, we're going to get to that in a little bit. But I was just typing in there, what do you think of the music? Is the YouTube audio library is what I usually use for music, and these were brand new songs. It looks like top songs as I went in there. So I was like, all right. As I previewed them, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of like. So let me know what you all think of that. And how are you doing? Heavy rock is better. I'll meet you in the middle. 80s rock. How about 80s rock? I kind of like the 80s rock. Yeah, this was under the genres of pop. And the last song you heard was considered ambient bright. Very interesting. All right. So I hope everybody is doing well. Just before Raymond, you came into the chat, Delvin said that they'll be here, may not respond to questions. So if you're talking, Delvin may not respond right away until later on. Totally fine. Whenever you can, feel free to join. All right, so we're gonna get started with a little bit of some news topics. And then some some other things. And let me just. There. Cool. We'll get to that in a second, or halfway through. And the drink of tonight, very simple. This is just a this Dragonberry Bacardi, so rum on the rocks, straight rum. Cheers. And these flavored rums actually taste pretty good just by themselves, especially when you have a nice block of ice in there. It does dilute it enough so it's not really biting. Any risk for flash floods? Well, we'll get into that. Actually, we could talk about that a little bit. Let me just take a quick peek here. Really, everything should be dying down at the moment. There are still some spotty. I just went up to the Albany radar, so let me just bring that up here. So here is the Albany radar. There are, what we got in here? Some comments, rain. Okay. There's some spotty showers still around. I really don't think any of this has a severe potential. Even like here, this is all still the garden variety thunderstorm risk before you get to the slight risk in here. I believe that, yeah, because there's no thunderstorm risk up here. Nothing there, and then there's just general thunderstorms. Then the slight risk with the green, darker green arrow. So anything in here I don't think will become severe, but there could be little cells here and there that are moderate, bringing some moderate rain. And it's going to be brief, so there could be a little flash flooding risk, especially if you're in a poorly drained area. You could see a little flooding risk up there, but that's really about it. And for the next 7 days. Yes, we'll get to that when we get to the forecasting. Okay, let me bring up some things here. So as I was browsing some of the news stories, this one was very interesting because it ties into a little bit of my tech stuff and weather. So right here, we have, as weather disasters increase, this is by USA Today. Mark Saltzman, special to USA Today. As weather disasters increase, these tech tips can protect your home against fires and floods. We were talking about floods, so there's some tech that can help protect your home against floods. Now, one of the interesting ones in here was right in the beginning when he brings up this graphic from NOAA. So NOAA says storms are becoming more powerful and costly. So this is United States billion-dollar disaster events, 1980 to 2022. CPI adjusted, I don't know what that means for sure. My guess is it's inflation adjusted. Everything's adjusted for inflation because $1980 is not the same as today dollar. So severe storm count. So that's the green. The other biggest one here, yellow, drought count. We have the purples, winter storm count. So severe weather, droughts, and winter storms. And then wildfire, like we're seeing it in Maui right now. So all this, pretty much every category has gone up. And it looks like the biggest, I would say, was starting right about here. There's a peak with the combined disaster costs and the cost 95%. I'm not sure what those mean. But right after this peak right here, we really start seeing a steep incline in the graph. So this isn't not necessarily related to climate change. It is a factor, and we've talked about climate change as well on here before. So this is interesting because it's not just climate change. This is also basically the cost of everything. Especially in the last couple of years, we know the cost of living has gone up quite a bit. We have groceries that are just so expensive now. Gas, last year, I forgot what it hit. It was almost $5 a gallon in New York, which is like a California level price. Normally, it's supposed to, at least the last time when I was paying for gas, it was around $3 to $3.50 a gallon. And then it peaked around $5. You blame COVID shutdown and the war in Ukraine. Yes. So right here, we got 2020. So that's that biggest spike right there. So I agree with you there. So that number one spike in the billion-dollar disaster events is related to COVID. Or we didn't really use the word COVID back then. 3 years ago. It was coronavirus. Oh, I don't know if I should say that because then you get demonetized right now. Or at least they took that down, I think. Because if you remember, I was doing a game stream on one of these, and I was doing, the game I was playing was the new Doom Eternal. And because I used the word Doom in the title, because the game's name is Doom, my stream kept getting taken down by the bots. Hopefully it doesn't happen right now. We shall see if YouTube fixed it. But anyway, so that is the number one costliest year for billion-dollar events. 2020. And I don't think it was directly from COVID, because COVID just drove up the cost of everything. So severe storm count cost, that was huge there. Inflation. I think that's what this CPI, CP something inflation adjusted. So I think this takes inflation out of the equation. There's no inflation in here. I think it's just solely going by the cost of all of the stuff that we have to buy. So groceries, gas, electric. So it really looked like, again, there's this peak right here. Combined disaster cost. I don't know what this means at the moment, but this peak, after this peak, that's where, if you're averaging all this, it's really on a very steep slope on the graph. Between 1980 and 2005, I would say, or maybe even 2006, or that's 2007. Let's say between 1980 and 2007, it was fairly level compared to starting in 2008. 2008, what happened in 2008? I actually can't remember. This is a legitimate question. What happened in 2008 that made everything very costly? I don't remember. But starting there, that started this steep slope on the graph. That was a very interesting graphic. I didn't even know Noah put this out, but this looks like it was January 10th is when that graphic came out, and this article was written today. They just pulled data from this year, but from the very beginning of this year. All right, how do you make sure your house is safe from fire? So the two biggest things, and this is not just wildfires. We are in the summer. Even so, we'll get to it a little bit later, but I have the radios, I was listening to the fire dispatch, and I heard quite a lot of responses for barbecue. Cat says hello. A lot of fire calls from barbecues. So, two biggest things in here, technology-wise. What was it? You had the super tornado outbreak in 2008. Okay. Interesting. So that, going back up to the graphic, 2008, that started that spike. Most interesting. Maybe that could have been the beginning of the costliness. Oh, Joe Chaffee's live right now, too? Yeah, it has been a while. You should definitely do that one time. But very interesting that that graphic was posted. All right, anyway, back to fire. So CO and CO. I would also throw in CO2 in there. Carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. So if you had to choose one, I would definitely say carbon monoxide. CO. One carbon, one oxygen. Carbon monoxide is poisonous. Carbon dioxide is not poisonous. However, carbon dioxide displaces oxygen. So we breathe out carbon dioxide. It's safe to inhale and exhale carbon dioxide. If you're in an area surrounded by carbon dioxide, it's basically just lowering the amount of oxygen in the air, so then it'll feel like you're suffocating. Not poisonous like carbon monoxide. Wildfires and some landfall hurricanes in 08. Maybe that was the beginning of the end. Anyway, so carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. If you had to pick one of those two detectors, carbon monoxide for sure. Carbon dioxide detectors, they are a little bit more temperamental, but they are out there. I don't think I have it anymore, but I had a CO2 detector. One second. I had a CO2 detector, but it needed to be calibrated. Very interestingly. Yes. So I have it. Don't worry. That'll be in here too. So CO and smoke detectors. Now, I have two smoke detectors in my apartment. It's small enough that I can have just one, but I have one. I added one into the bedroom of the apartment, and then there's one that's in like a common area in the apartment. Not really common area, but just one area of the apartment. That's the kitchen, the living room, the dining room, all, and where I'm streaming from right now is all one area. That's all one smoke detector. In the bedroom, because if we shut the door when we're sleeping to keep it cold in there, or colder than anywhere else, we have a smoke detector in there as well. Our smoke detector is connected to our alarm system, so it's app enabled. Very interesting, Raymond. NOAA weather radios as smoke detectors for tornadoes and straight line winds. A lot more than that, too. Especially if we have winter weather or we have hurricanes coming through. It's going to be key, but it's coming up. Don't worry. All right. The next section here they had was flooding. The goal is to keep water from entering the home, so a good So non-tech tip is to secure roof shingles, check gutters, downspouts for poor drainage, and seal all openings, cracks, and holes. So not a tech thing, but again, very good advice, because if your gutters are clogged, any rain coming down your roof is just going to spill over the edge, over the overhang, and it could pool or puddle at the foundation. And you do not want water puddling or pooling. Let's go with puddling. You don't want water puddling at the foundation of your home, because if it sits there, it can seep into the foundation, and once the foundation is cracked, that's a big problem. So the point of the gutter is it catches the rain coming off the roof, and it funnels it off the side outside the house or down the hill, wherever it is. Low tech tips, but the high tech tip with a piece of technology that's very interesting. So this one's a My D-Link they have, Kitty's water leak and freeze detector, and a moan leak detector. So the idea for these is they're all water detectors you can have in your home. So you put this, say, under the sink. So that way it can also detect if it freeze detector. Because frozen pipes in the winter can cause water backups and burst pipes. That is true, but not everywhere gets those EF2 to EF5 tornadoes. I would also say any tornado, EF0 through 5, can cause some issues. So there's water. After the ads. Oh, is that it? Oh, there was a second part of this article. Anyway. So you can have a lot of app-enabled things. So they talked about smoke alarms, CO alarms. I added in carbon dioxide alarms if you want that as well, to make sure your apartment, your home is well ventilated. And the smoke detectors, having them all app connected is very convenient, because if you're away, if you're on vacation, you're at work or something like that, you will know all the time what the condition of your house is. And Raymond, finally, to your point, let me bring this up in glorious full screen. A simple radio. So this specific radio is a ham radio, but this ham radio can also receive quite a lot of other types of frequencies. So I have this set right now for I turned it off, but you can listening to fire dispatch, or I'm gonna pull it up. Ooh, lower that a little bit.
Northeast winds around 5 miles per hour.
There's your NOAA weather radio. So if the cell phone network goes down and your internet in your home goes down, how are you going to get alerts for weather? If there's, like you said, a tornado risk, or if there's any kind of severe risk, if you're in the winter and you need winter weather alerts, lose power, something happens, this is a way it will give you a forecast. Oh, it's squelching it. Or not squelching, it's cutting it off.
Around 3 feet. Winds and seas may be higher in.
So right now it sounds like it's on the surf forecast. So now this, if you can see, it shows NOAA WX, which is an abbreviation for Weather 1. So this is programmed with weather channels. Not the weather channel, but weather channels. I think there's 9. Yeah, so there's 9 different weather frequencies. So these weather frequencies, they are posted on weather.gov. But let me show you here. The specific one for the New York City metropolitan area is here. 162.550. That is the frequency you would tune the radio to get the NOAA weather radios. and that's constantly broadcasting. It's also kind of interesting to think in terms of radios. That is constantly being broadcast all around you. I always thought that was fascinating. So, another piece of tech that I would add to this article is some sort of NOAA weather radio. Whether it's a dedicated NOAA weather radio or it's a special type of radio, like this one's a ham radio. I've shown GMRS radios before. The ham radio can do all. So this it can listen to everything. It's only legally allowed, according to the FCC, to broadcast on ham, but it can broadcast on other things. So this one is a really good one that I have, and I love having that NOAA weather radio readily available. Okay. One other quick thing we'll bring up before we get to some weather forecasting. Let me transition on over here. We did talk about hurricanes in the forecast last week. You started to sound like the CDC with COVID. Make sure your house is ventilated. Funny. But that you do, because if you don't have any ventilation and you seal up the windows, it's going to have a buildup of CO2. That's where it's good to have fresh air circulating through the house. Yes, a simple Midland walkie-talkie is considered a weather radio. Not all walkie-talkies can do the NOAA weather radio. I have one of those small, simple Midland walkie-talkies. Those are considered an FRS, Family Radio Service, I believe is what it is. But they're an FRS radio. Those, when you think of a walkie-talkie, that's usually what you think of first. You tune to a channel. You got 22 channels to choose from. Tune to a channel, and you can, as long as both ends are on the same channel, then you can talk to each other. However, some of those, like the Midland Lake you're talking about, and the one I have as well, have the NOAA weather radio frequencies built into them. So that one, the Midland I have, it's channel 7 for the weather radio frequencies here, versus this, it's called, it looks like it's pronounced Wuxun, but I think it's pronounced Ocean. It's Chinese company, I believe. This one, the NOAA weather channel, is 1, but this can be reprogrammed. The FRS Midland ones cannot be reprogrammed. Okay. So continuing on here. National Hurricane Preparedness. Again, like we talked about last week, the National Hurricane Center and NOAA, they upped the seasonal outlook for this season for hurricanes to a 60% chance of an above normal hurricane season. So it's good to think about stuff now. There are some hurricane preparedness themes. Give me 1 second. Button. I thought I had to slide down the software here, but I actually have a mute button, it looks like, so I should be talking now. Go out until I bring it back now. Okay. I just learned something about OBS, which is really cool. A mute button. We might have a guest appearance shortly. We'll see. Anyway, You still stand by what you said the other day? Still dead like cable TV is. Wow. I know last time you were talking about as dead as a mouse in a cat's mouth. But as dead as cable TV. And it's funny that you mentioned that because my wife and I don't have cable TV. We just have streaming. My parents have cable TV. And I have an account with their subscription. So I'm able to log into my account through them on our Apple TV and I get live TV. So, cool. Okay. Just very briefly here, we're going to really talk about prepare before the hurricane season right now. So that's what you should be doing right now. Develop an evacuation plan. Assemble disaster supplies, food, water, batteries, charger, radio. Oh, hey, they said it. There it is. Radio. It's good to have these just plain walkie-talkies. So like Raymond was saying with the Midland walkie-talkies that have no weather radio, those are good. But this one I like because I'm actually studying to get my ham radio license. I have a GMRS radio license, so I can do that as well and use repeaters to get extended broadcast for the basic the GMRS frequencies with that. But ham, this one can receive it all. So that's really cool that you can use it on this. But radio. And I don't think it's going to change no matter what decade or what century we're in. Cash is king. Cash on hand. Because if you're going somewhere and hurricane evacuation, they lose power. You lose power, you cannot transact a credit card or a debit card. But you can still do a cash transaction with like an offline POS ticket. I know that because I've done those before. And yes, that's good. What's going to replace cable TV is free ad-supported streaming services. Yes. Roku, I just used Roku when Meg and I were at Belmar for the beach last week. The TV they had was Roku streaming. But I still get live TV through my parents' cable subscription. Here we go. Get insurance. Get an insurance checkup and document your possessions. So just 2 years ago, Meg and I moved into an apartment. As this is now, we're coming up on 2 years of being married. Because we got our apartment together then. We did an evaluation of all the possessions we have. And we came up with an evaluation. We called the insurance company, gave them the evaluation. They're like, all right, here's the quote per year of insurance. So you want to make sure that what you have in your house is properly covered. Because if all of a sudden you went on a buying spree and you have $20,000 more in possessions than your insurance is covered for, you're out of luck. Create a communication plan with a handwritten list of contacts. Insurance is getting harder to find now, yes. And some places you have to watch very carefully. So, like, I'm in the suburbs of New York City. So I'm still near a coastline region. The hurricanes are prone to me where I live. However, on the house I own, I don't believe hurricane coverage is included. So we have flood damage, flood coverage, wind damage, but if it's damage caused by a hurricane, like if it's labeled as a hurricane, then we are not covered. Weird things with insurance. They won't cover some disasters. Yes, that is correct. That's exactly what I was just saying. So if we have a thunderstorm that comes through, summertime thunderstorm, severe thunderstorm, knocks down a tree and crushes a car, or hits part of the house, knocks down a power line, something like that. or knocks down something on the house, that would be covered. But if it's a hurricane that comes through and does the exact same damage, not covered. So, something to keep in mind. Create a communication plan with handwritten list of contacts. That's key. Handwritten list of contacts. You can't beat good old pen and paper. Because if you lose power, and it's good to have battery backups. I'm actually running one of my overhead lights from a battery backup right now. Have a handwritten list of the contacts and emergencies, because if you have to go somewhere and your phone dies and you don't memorize all your contacts, that's where challenge to anybody listening or anybody watching right now. Do you know all of the phone numbers for all of your family members? I know a couple, but I don't know them all. So anybody I need to reach, I would have a handwritten list of contacts. And included in my communication plan is a point-to-point radio system, which is also why I have this. And yes, I see, Raymond, they won't cover wildfires either now. Yeah, so you definitely have to check. Some insurances will. I don't think most will. Definitely check your insurance coverage for that. I saw the antenna was right in my face. Anyway, so the communication plan. So for instance, if the cell network goes down and I can't call my family, so if Meg and I are in our apartment, my parents live about 3 miles away. I have an aunt that lives maybe about another 2 miles away. If the cell phone network goes down, we can't communicate with each other unless we want to do like smoke signals or something. That's just a joke. But these kind of radios can cover distances like that. So that's good to have as well. So that's why I have that radio. It's one of my emergency communication plans. Yes, this is correct. So the hurricane preparedness plan and a tornado preparedness plan should be very similar. However, the tornado preparedness plan, because tornadoes can just pop up and dissipate very quickly, you have to react very fast. So you should design your emergency plan for tornadoes to be very quick, where you have a grab and go kind of situation. Hurricane preparedness, you're pretty much going to know at least a day to maybe 3 days in advance. So you have a little bit more leeway to get ready. With Hurricane Sandy, for instance, I forgot exactly who. I think it was Al Roker that was the first to break it, but 8 days ahead of time. I was in college at that point in 2012. 8 days ahead of time, me, my fellow student meteorologists, and all of the meteorology professors, we all saw this coming 8 days in advance. It is irresponsible to make some sort of prediction like that 8 days in advance for something so severe and so deadly like Sandy was. You need validation. You need run-to-run consistencies, and that's where you have to wait a little bit. Anyway, one thing here. My lights are getting a little low. There we go, a little bit more light. And then strengthen your home. I'm in an apartment, so I can't really do anything about that. But if you're in a house, definitely make sure you have a solid foundation. Strengthen your home does not include putting duct tape and X's on your windows. Putting duct tape on your windows will do absolutely nothing. Boarding up your windows? Okay, that's a little bit better. But I've seen people put like duct tape and X's just on the window with no wood. That's not going to do anything. Yes, Raymond, very true. So the SPC does put their categorical outlooks out 2 days in advance. So that can help. Yeah, and for that super outbreak, that was a good time to be in advance. And at that time, YouTube really wasn't as prevalent. Everybody was still focused on cable TV news. But yes, so also interesting fact, Raymond. So except AMS meteorologists, at the moment, I am not an AMS certified meteorologist. So on their page for the CBM, the Certified Broadcast Meteorologist, the prerequisites to get your CBM, you have to either be 2 years on air, full-time. I was not full-time. I was part-time. So then you have to be 3 years on air, which I did. So once I got to the 3 years mark on air, that entirety of the 4th year, I was preparing and working with my chief meteorologist, Brian Fitzgerald, who was also the chief meteorologist for Joe Chaffee and Joe Rayo at FiOS. But I was working with him to help study for the CBM because I was planning on going for it until we got word that the news station was ending, and I had no future plans at that point to be on television. Is also it costs, I think, almost $400 to get your AMS certification, which probably the news station would have covered unless they were going under, which they did. Good times back then. 2019. Woo. Anyway, so I was preparing to go for my AMS certification. However, the news station went under, and I didn't see it as worthwhile at that time. Should I go on television again, which I do have some things I've been looking at and applied for, but we'll see. If I am on television again, then yes, I would go for that Certified Broadcast Meteorologist AMS certification. But as a new meteorologist, just fresh out of college there, really can't. Okay, so that's the preparedness plan highlights there. And they go through quite a bit of detail about each of those points. Now, I would say this is a really good website, the National Hurricane Preparedness. So for anybody there, I will put this in the chat because I know YouTube saves and I set it for the live chat replay. So there's the website to go to for the official NOAA.gov hurricane prep. All right. You should monetize your live streams. I would love to. You know why I can't? I don't have 1,000 subscribers. No, they changed it. 500 subscribers. I am at 192. I think I lost 1 subscriber today. I think I'm at 192 subscribers. I need 500 to begin the monetization process. Because I was monetized in 2017 when I really started getting regular with this. I did monetize YouTube. I didn't make much. It was maybe $1 a month. So after gaining some money, it's kind of like a deposit account, the AdSense account. When YouTube decided to switch it, they initially had 1,000 subscriber minimum to make revenue, which kind of makes sense because I was probably at 50, like 30 to 50 subscribers at that point. If I'm making $1 or less than $1 a month, it's not really going to be a primary revenue source. But right now, in my AdSense account, from that time, I have $1.24 in there. AdSense now has a rule that you cannot withdraw money out of it until you have at least $10. That money's locked away. Unless anybody watching, if anybody wants to help get me to 500 subscribers at least, that'd be greatly appreciated. And then once you get to 1,000 subscribers, that's where you get a better monetization. The start monetization, I believe, is 500, but the full monetization program really is 1,000 subscribers. All right. So let's switch on over now. Let's talk about some weather forecasting. August 11th. We are past that. This did not refresh. Oh no, it did refresh. But they didn't update. Oh, that's very interesting. They don't have a weather story graphic. All right, skip. All right, Storm Prediction Center. So day one, pretty much done. We had that slight risk, marginal risk, general thunderstorms, and then nothing once you really get into New England. But that's pretty much done now. When we start looking at day two, much clearer, thankfully. Unless you're a storm lover, so not thankfully. One other thing just want to mention real quick. I always like to bring this up because it does provide context right there, smack dab in the middle of the country. Look at that. Extreme drought. I believe that D4 is exceptional. It's beyond extreme. It's an exceptional drought. The dark red there. So in the middle of the country, that's what I think we were talking about last time. This is potentially becoming the next Dust Bowl. Once we kind of get back into the Northeast, a lot of areas are really good. We still have kind of around Nassau County here in a D1 drought. And then all of Long Island is in D0, which is just a normally dry and is not a drought. But D1 is a drought, just a little bit there. Warnings? What do you mean warnings? For this, or let's talk about here. False alarm with tornado sirens. Yeah, there is a fine balance with those tornado sirens where if you have too many false alarms, people are just going to ignore it, even if it's not a false alarm. If you don't have enough alarms at all, then you're going to have a tornado come through with no tornado siren. There's a balance there. But here, 2-day graphical tropical weather outlook. National Hurricane Center. So there are 3 areas of interest. What about the April 27th? Okay. Did they have a lot of false alarms with that? All right, so there's 3 areas on the National Hurricane Center they're looking at. There's all of these pulses of energy that become tropical systems. All pretty much come off the west coast of Africa. So I would say the majority of hurricanes that we get along the east coast come out of Africa. That's just the way the wind flow happens with the equator and the Tropic of Cancer and the equator there. So we have lines of latitude here, sorry. Right here, 20 degrees north. So we have 15, 20, 25 north. So that line of 20 degrees north to 20 degrees south, that's considered the tropics. So within 20 degrees north, and you can kind of see this area here. Pretty much all of them are all of them are within 0 to 20 degrees north. Oh, interesting. Oh, James Spann. Okay. As these pulses of energy come off the west coast of Africa, they either just peter out if there's not enough of development in the Atlantic. So we have the subtropical high, which would be here, which clockwise in the northern hemisphere. That's where on the bottom side of the high pressure, we're getting all those winds pulling kind of off the coast of Africa, through the Caribbean, and up into the Gulf of Mexico or up into the East Coast. I know something I was studying was right here, Puerto Rico. That was the anchor point. So if a tropical system went south, and this is what I was studying with like what the percentages were. If a tropical system went south of Puerto Rico, it would end up in the Gulf of Mexico area here. If the tropical system went over Puerto Rico, then it would kind of follow the East Coast up. If the tropical system went north of Puerto Rico, then it would kind of just go out to sea. That's something I was studying. Oh, 1 second there. It looks like a certain somebody wants to go out and is sitting by the front door. All right. So 0, not even a thing on there, and 10% chance of formation. So nothing really big there. All right, so let me just refresh this for the radar here. So like I said before in the beginning of the stream, just a few little spots here and there for north going into like your area, Raymond. Yes, so we have one that was kind of like a cat sitting, so we're cat sitting right now. Cat disappeared. Growing up, I had birds and I had fish. I didn't have any cats or dogs. Meg grew up with lots of animals, including ducks and chickens. And cows, I think, too. But, yep, here comes the cat. We have one right now. No, he's just kind of sitting next to me. Hey, buddy. I don't want to move anything because the camera is actually the webcam of the laptop right now. But anyway, he's right here. Radar scope is better than National Weather Service radar. Yes, to, I would say, 98% of things. The only thing I like the National Weather Service radar for better is it's a mosaic, meaning it's all the radar stations in a mosaic, I guess you could say, together. With radar scope, so this I have set to Albany. If I go anywhere else, it doesn't show anything because I have to set the radar and I have to choose the radar station that I want this to be at. Ooh, that was interesting there. He said we have some shopping bags out and made a little bed out of shopping bags. Also, this was interesting because these are some severe thunderstorm watches. Once it loads, there we go. So you have to set the radar station. Oh, wow, that is quite... Ooh, look at that outflow boundary. You see the storm, and then all of a sudden you see this little thin strip, that little line there. Outflow boundary. So that, or just outflow. That is very strong winds that come out ahead of the storm, faster than the storm. That's the only thing with any of these more higher resolution systems is you have to, like radar scope, or I forgot the name of the one you use, Raymond, but something like that. You have to choose the radar station. So South Jersey here is still getting some severe weather. So now this is not really a severe thunderstorm because it's out in the ocean. So that's where this orange is a special marine statement. If I can get it to click. Nope. Not clicking for me. Anyway, these are special marine statements. There is still all this area with a severe thunderstorm watch. That's the only thing I don't like necessarily with these is you have to move and specifically choose the radar station. That's why I do like this every so often, because then I can just take a quick glance at where there's some systems and then go to radar scope. Yes, yep, there was a severe thunderstorm watch south of New York City, all right there. Although this, I believe, is expiring in 42 minutes. Yeah, I knew it was expiring fairly shortly. Because now that the sun is down, the energy source is lost. Okay. Taking a look at some satellites, so the nighttime microphysics here. There's that swath of weather that's giving the severe thunderstorm watch still, but that should be expiring soon, and anything here will be just kind of dampering down. On the surface analysis, there's a lot of a couple of fronts here, an occluded front, stationary fronts here, a high and a low together. That looks weird. Something's happening there, but that's also kind of right where the severe thunderstorm watch is. Now, before we get to tropical tidbits, I'm just gonna take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. So let me switch on over here, and then we will have a little "Be Right Back" music. Where? Oh, there it is. Cool. I'll see you in just a few minutes. are back. Just a quick little pop up on drink and grab the cookie. So, cheers, everybody. And I see Delvin, you are here now. So, welcome. Yes, I do remember the 2003 blackout. What was I? Yeah, the exact moment. It was funny. The exact moment in 2003 when the power went out, I was practicing putting in my garage. And I hit it a little too hard. It bounced. And I thought, oh no, the golf ball knocked the power out in the house. Nope, not that. It was something stupid like a golf ball knocking power out, because I think it was just a branch in Canada that knocked out the power grid for the entire eastern seaboard. $7:45 in Boston. I see. In Amsterdam, still post 9 p.m. Yeah, I think it was or somebody else said last week was the last post 8 p.m. sunset until next year. That's just wild to think about. Yes, I think it was. It was definitely in the afternoon because I was just playing around with the golf stuff. Was it weather related or was it overload system? So, from what I remember, it was a tree branch. It was not weather related. It was just a tree branch that fell. As branches get old, they just fall off. A tree branch that fell off hit a power line that was connected to a substation, and that caused a whole chain reaction throughout the whole system. And let's just say they have learned from that, so a single tree branch cannot knock out an entire continent, essentially. An entire eastern part of the continent. All right. We did that. We're here. Okay, so very briefly, weather forecast. So this is going through tonight. Those systems will be ending. Tomorrow is very interesting because around the New York City area, I don't think these little systems are going to be as prevalent. More up north, so near you, Raymond, you might have a bit more of a rain chance. Again, I don't think anything in New England is going to materialize. As we can see right there's a high pressure system. 1012, 1016, not marked there, but we can see that's where the high is right in the middle there. That's making its way eastward. By the time we get to the second half of the day, Wednesday, all the rain chances are pretty much gone, and that high pressure moves in for just a little bit. So Thursday looks fine to start out the day. More north, so that's where New England's going to get a bit more shower chance. The New York City area still stays pretty clear for this. And then here, overnight Thursday into Friday, looks like the next system. Again, we're on the Tropical Tidbits website. When we're on the GFS right now with the 18Z run. And after Friday, Saturday looks pretty good because then we have a nice 1022 millibar high. That stays in place. Saturday, and pretty much for Sunday as well. So the weekend, I think, is going to be pretty good. Interesting, Delvin. Oh, Raymond, I did not hear that. It's a good thing I am not in New York City. This rolling blackouts in New York City probably would not go over well. Because you know us New Yorkers, You don't mess with New Yorkers. Hey, I'm the nicest guy, but if you get in my way, you better watch out for them size 9 cement shoes, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I just channeled my New York really, really hard right there. Anyway, so through the weekend looks pretty nice. This is our next storm chance, it looks like, at least here. Monday night. This is something to definitely watch out for, because again, it could bring a severe potential Monday night. Then Tuesday, behind the storm. Looks clear, but the isobars are pretty tightly packed for most of the day on Tuesday there. Delvin, with the power lines not being buried, where are you talking about? Which is actually when Meg and I got our apartment. That's something I definitely looked at. So we have underground power here. So there is a big green box in front of each apartment building in the apartment complex, and that's where the subterranean power lines come up, and then I guess there's like a little transformer that then pulls down or transforms down the power so it can enter the building and then goes into the building underground. Yeah, so so New York City and suburbs like where I am, so the apartment that Meg and my wife and I have, we have underground power. But the house I own with my parents, 3 miles down the road, all above ground power lines. That's where we always had power issues when I was at the house there. And my parents still have issues with power more than my wife and I, because here we have underground power lines. Again, something with preparedness for hurricane season, like we talked about at the beginning of the stream. All right, so that was the NAM. So here I do really like on Pivotal Weather, they upgraded the user interface. Because each time you would advance a frame on the model run, it would refresh the entire page. And that would cause issues where if I am down here and I advance, it would refresh every time and move up. Although that's kind of weird. Gonna lock that in. Okay, yes. But as I scroll up and down the page, it does a little weird thing. I don't know what it's doing. So let's not move it. Let's just leave it where it is. Rewind. Here we go. So all those storms making their way out. Going into Thursday. Thursday is pretty clear on the Euro. Then overnight Thursday, a little shower chance it looked like there. Oh no, that's the second. That's 18Z, not 0Z. Yeah, any kind of winds and snow. You get ice on power lines. If you have a 1/4 inch of ice along a run of power line, that could be thousands of pounds. Not thousands, but 1,000 pounds. If you're talking about a whole strip of power lines with 1/4 inch of ice on it. Regular thunderstorms, flash flood, boom, power out. Yep. Yeah, don't forget about winter though. Ice on the power lines. And also ice on the tree branches, which then make the tree branches crack and fall into the power lines. Basically every of the 4 seasons. Not the hotel. The weather 4 seasons. All right, so looking into the day on Friday. So this is showing Friday morning. A little bit of some action there. Go back to Friday morning there. So a little spottier on the GFS than it is on the Euro. really weird is doing that. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Oh, that's cool. Friday 12Z. Little bit more steady, it looks like. But then it clears out for the rest of the day on later in the day on Friday. High pressure moves in for Saturday, for Sunday, for Monday until Tuesday, it looks like. So Monday night was the GFS. Nothing on Monday night here until Tuesday. Heat waves can overload power grids too, and cause greenhouse gas because of ACs. Yes, if more people are running AC, then that just puts a strain on the grid more than it's used to, and you get brownouts and blackouts. Basically, you can lose power at every turn. All right, switching to the icon. Let me change the runtime so we get the 180 hour. There we go. Now we're back on Tropical Tidbits. The icon, and we'll rewind here. Okay, so there's the system making its way out. So this is showing overnight. There could be some little spotty showers here and there. Starting your day on Wednesday. New York City area looks like it'll be pretty good. East into Long Island, maybe some spotty showers. North into upstate New York, yeah. Second half of the day looks good for Wednesday. Thursday looks good to start out with. And then overnight Thursday into early Friday, maybe a little bit. Clears out for Friday. So then Saturday looks good. Sunday looks good. Monday looks good. And here on Tuesday, it's not as strong. Because on the rest of these, on Tuesday, that's Tuesday 0Z. Oh no, the Euro didn't have that either. I think it was just GFS. Yeah, the GFS was really the only one that had overnight Tuesday. Starting out your day on Tuesday with that line right there. AC isn't common in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah, I knew AC is not common in most European areas. They declare heat waves at 77. That I didn't know. I knew specifically because I know people from London that most people in London don't have AC. Which I'm like, why? If you can't buy it, if I ever move to London, I will ship an AC unit. Even if it's the North American 110, I will get an adapter. I will make sure that AC is working. And if people want to stay with me, I will charge them. I'm that good of a friend. Okay, that was the icon. The NAM, as we know, doesn't go that far out. So let's just take a peek as far as it can go out. So overnight, little bits here and there. Going into your day on Wednesday. Little spotty showers up more upstate New York. A little bit into New England. Then it should be clearing out later in the day. No, this one doesn't. Excuse me, doesn't as much. It starts really in the evening on Wednesday to clear out. Yeah, even if it's an average high of 75, I like to keep my apartment probably around 68 or 20 Celsius. Yeah, I like 20 Celsius, 68 Fahrenheit. Why is the NAM dancing around a low pressure? I see that. It's there. Then it's there. Yeah. I don't know why it's dancing around like that. I mean, the L could look like a leg, so it could be dancing in the atmosphere. Just joke. But that's where my standard response is. It is a computer simulation. It's trying its best. We did talk about last time the software upgrade for the US models. I'm pretty sure the NAM would be included in that. I don't know about that. But they did talk about the GFS. Oh, is it on here? It doesn't show the resolution for the GFS. But I think that from that article I remembered it said a 9-kilometer resolution for the GFS now. Oh wow. So in 1900 they only maxed out at 67. Very interesting to know. All right, we're almost done with the forecast part here. So 3-kilometer NAM again, which won't go out as far as even as the regular 12-kilometer NAM. So overnight, still a little spottiness. Going into the day tomorrow, it looks like again some areas outside of the New York City area. Boston is showing a little bit more here. Upstate New York is showing a little bit more there. And then it's kind of doing a little dance with that. So scattered showers, nothing. Scattered showers, nothing. So the NAM seems to be having a little bit of a time there. And then overnight Thursdays, where the other one was, maybe this is a little bit sooner. There's that line coming through. That's the end of the model. So that we saw that line coming through right there. Look at that line in the southeast. You're talking about here? Yeah, that. So that just looks like it's some sort of system training in place. That is definitely quite an interesting system. Yeah, from everything I've studied, the Pacific Northwest would qualify, I would say, for more AC weather than London or Amsterdam. Also, this might sound like a dumb question. If it is, I apologize. But do you know in Amsterdam what the primary language is? Is it Dutch, or is there a strong population of English speaking there too? And Raymond, you're talking about the beginning of the run. So yeah, the beginning of the run. So this is Wednesday 01Z. So this is 9 p.m. This is in 20 minutes it's showing. That line is actually panning out pretty well. So if we go back to the radar here, go down a little bit more south into those severe thunderstorm watch boxes. There's the line right there. That's the one that had the very interesting outflow right there. It looks like it moved quite a bit because it's a fast mover. It has actually he's pretty much made it to the coast. Moorhead City. But usually that outflow means the storm is dying. Yeah, I would say all of the lower 48 in the US need some sort of AC. I know some areas in Canada would need AC, but I feel like most of Canada extended into Calgary in Canada. Yeah, so there's some areas in Canada, brutal 95 plus heat. Yes, that I definitely know. There's some areas in Canada that do need AC, but I feel like once you get to kind of central Canada and north of central Canada, you really don't need AC. In Amsterdam, the official language is Dutch. All train announcements and government websites are in Dutch only. Very interesting. And yes, you can get a severe thunderstorm warning with an outflow boundary. So that's where it's pretty much done. So if there is no severe thunderstorm warning issued now, let me just stop the loop. There's the outflow. It's at the coast. So if it keeps going beyond that, there's no... Actually, they can't even issue a severe thunderstorm warning because it would switch over to marine weather. So they could do a special marine statement, but they wouldn't do a severe thunderstorm warning for that. All right, and the very last one, HRRR. I did watch some 5 o'clock news, and some people were calling this the Her. I don't like that name, the Her. I call it the HRRR. Some call it the Rapid Refresh, because there was a Rapid Refresh, and then now with the H, it's a High Resolution Rapid Refresh. And at the last Tri-State Weather Conference I went to, I actually met the guy that's completely in charge of the HRRR. And it was really fascinating to talk to him about it. All the big cities in Canada need AC, so all North America. All right, fair point. Fair point, Delvin, there. All right, taking a look at briefly some 2-meter temperatures here, and then we'll end off with the Moss, and then switch to some Minecrafting, and then we'll see how some settings go. All right, so looking at some temperatures here, so low 80. Oh, wait, where am I? Oh, I'm back in the negatives. We're gonna go back to this, the initialized 0 hour. Okay. So we are seeing upper 70s, low 80s. Looks like tomorrow. 60. So looks like pretty still average. Low 80s. 60s for the overnight there. For Friday, mid 70s. The mid 80s. Getting down to the 50s. So we are starting to see some overnight lows getting down into the 50s. And this is, I don't know about this, but here. In this square right here, where it's all the low 50s into the upper 50s, they have a 49. I don't know if they get that low in that part of Connecticut. But yeah, we are getting down into cooler temperatures. Delvin, as you said, the times are getting earlier now for sunset, meaning the darker the time, the more time there is for darkness, the cooler the temperatures can get. Saturday, because then the weekend looks like it's to be clear. So Saturday, the low 70s to the low 80s. So actually, it might be a pretty nice day for Saturday and Sunday. Low 80s to around 90 because it's going to be pretty clear on Sunday, especially around the Jersey Shore. So the week that Meg and I went to the Belmar, the Jersey Shore, besides the tornadic activity that was out there, it was actually pretty good. It was the upper 70s, around 80s. That was perfect temperature for me. And we had a cooler sea breeze coming in as well. The ocean temperature was pretty cold. It was around the low 70s. For the ocean temperature. The pool at the hotel was around the upper 70s to around 80 degrees, so it kind of matched the air temperature, which wasn't bad. Mid upper 50s, you're talking about the daytime highs or the overnight lows. That's the normal low in Amsterdam in midsummer. Is mid upper 50s. Very interesting. So it's comfortable and no need for AC. Overnight lows. All right, well, yeah. So we are getting very near where the overnight lows are getting down into the 50s. They say it's a heat wave in the ocean. I feel like that's a joke. Monday. Ooh. That is interesting. So Monday, 90s in a lot of areas around here, even going very, like, the Canadian border is still the mid to upper 70s. 90s around New York City, the Jersey Shore, that's showing a 98 here. And going to Tuesday, the end of my forecast period here, looks like upper 70s. So my guess, because this is also the GFS. So what the line that was coming through looked like on the GFS, it's going to drop the temperatures from the 90s down to the 70s. I guess you gotta love your urban heat island effect. And very lastly, we'll take a look at some Moss data. View those bulletins. There we go. So dew points. Wednesday is staying in the low 70s. Thursday's low 70s. Friday, it drops off. Because Friday was the last of kind of that shower chance. Because then we're going to have dew points, it looks like here. This is iSlip specifically. Dew points in the 50s for Saturday. Low to mid 60s for Sunday. And then it gets a little bit more moist later in the day on Monday. Because that's when we saw the next line coming through. Let's go here to Newark. Interesting with all the trees. It's probably because the trees would be doing something to keep the humidity low. White Plains, let's take a look at dew points. So upper 60s. And then later in the day on Friday, once it starts clearing out, low 50s. So Saturday is probably going to be the pick of the weekend. Still not bad for Sunday. Then Monday, it starts to climb up again as that next line kind of comes through later in the day on Monday or overnight Monday to Tuesday. Clears out there. Yes, I think I agree with that too, because European cities are very old. So there's a lot of, I guess, still cobblestone. So here we're in Albany. In Albany, dew points, 60s through Friday. Then it drops into the low 50s, mid 50s, low 60s. So still is good until later in the day on Monday that we've been seeing. And then Boston here, dew points, mid 60s, upper 70s. And then after Friday, when it clears out, upper 50s, upper 40s. Wow. So Saturday, I would say it's going to be a very comfortable day. Open Pivotal Weather and look at a dew point map of Europe to see. Let's see. Pivotal Weather. So let's switch this to United Kingdom, Germany, Italy. Let's go United Kingdom. Okay. And 2 meter dew point. This is Celsius. I mean, 20 Celsius would be 68. What time is this? That's 12Z. Let's do 8. So 18Z Thursday. Let's do tomorrow. 18Z. Oh, stay in place. Not behaving properly there. So Wednesday, 18Z. Okay. No, Wednesday, 18Z. Day. Nope. Wednesday, 18Z. Let's stay at Wednesday, 18Z. Okay. I just wanted to check specifically here, but still, low 10 Celsius. That is. Oh, right. I'm thinking the US for some reason. But I still had an issue where it would not. Yeah, because Greenwich Mean Time is there, so let's go to 6Z. Still, we're talking about the single digits to the low 10s, or low teens for dew points between the day and the night. That's pretty dry, but it makes sense when you think about the subtropical high. The subtropical high, we would have northerly flow. And that northerly flow, as you have the winds coming from the north, cooler winds, obviously, from the Arctic coming down and then warming up, would have drier conditions than on the East Coast, where you have warmer air coming up from the south and then cooling down. Very interesting. Go back to here. Cool. All right. I have a little switch over to just some brief gaming, not too long. Just bring that up here. And then while I get some Minecraft set, we'll have a brief break and I'll be back in a few minutes here. So let me get that ready. All right, I am back. Just gonna switch over some audio into a Minecraft. Java, there we go. Bring that up. No, that one. Now we're in our Minecraft. Here we go. Yes, Delvin, you're definitely right. There's a bit one can learn. Yeah, that's actually why part of my college training was to look at Europe and the US, because Europe actually acts very similar to California. Because when you look at subtropical highs in the Atlantic and the Pacific, they are similar with that northerly flow along the California coast and the European coast, because they're both western sides of a continent. The western side of a continent is going to be very similar, depending on where. It doesn't matter where it is, but they're all going to be very similar. Of course, there are some nuanced differences between them. Like California, like all Canada through California on the west coast is just land, versus Europe is broken up. Oh, Raymond, I totally forgot. Robot Taxi Wars in San Francisco. Yes, Delvin, that is true, because California is more south, according to latitude, than Europe. But the wind pattern is all very similar, with the subtropical highs in the Pacific and the Atlantic. All right. Back where we were. It's been a while since I've established this, so I forgot what the goal was with this particular spot. But I do remember I put the door in the very last time. There's some squid. Don't see in this particular one any of the mer people. I think I need a boat. Maybe a channel lock. Let's close this off. This is to be our channel, essentially. Put a little gate lock in here, but I do need... Oh wow, that one's floating on the surface. I do need some more dirt. Cool. We're gonna make the channel door double width. Too far out. There's gonna be the channel door. Then this is gonna be a closed off little waterway. Lots of water. That's flowing away. Very interesting. Spider, see more active. Spider? Was there a spider? You mean in the game? Oh, also, the streaming looks pretty good. Seems to be more active. California is definitely hotter and definitely seems to be more active. Also, from my end, when I'm watching the YouTube preview of the stream, it looks much smoother than it did last time. What do you think? Let's make some more doors. Door. Okay. Oh, I see what it's doing. There we go. Oh, I had 2 doors already. Alright, now I have 5 doors. Those 2 doors would have been exactly what I was looking for here. I need dirt on the bottom. Beneath these. There we go. Now I think that should work. Boom. We've got channel lock. Need a bucket to get some more water in here. What happens if I open the door? I feel like I've done this before and it didn't have this issue. You have a lot of copper. Let me pull some copper. I think I took it all out of there because there's still raw copper. I just need more coal. I could use charcoal. Some copper in there. Make a copper bucket. No, it needs the iron, not the copper. So we'll put the iron in there. And we have a bucket. Cool. It's about to get dark. I think I should have a bed. Well. Yeah. At least with the door frame, I don't think arrows can actually go through there. Yes. Delvin, I do agree with you because it is more north. And it is the western continent, west coast of the continent. So it has more of a stabilizing effect. So the winds from the north, the northerly flow, will have a stabilizing effect. That's why you don't really see storms and like hurricanes coming up California, but we definitely do on the East Coast. I'm still working from inside. I'm working from home. Look at that. Trying to get some seeds. Nothing came through. Feel like very brief. Out here. Maybe I should extend that. 2 blocks. Let's do this very carefully. Okay. I think that's so good. Yeah, they won't be. Nothing but a spider would be able. Here. Or, of course, a creeper. Low, so the Enderman can't get in here. Huh. Water physics in Minecraft don't exist. That is very true. Also, so the Mac that I'm using can't run RTX, but the gaming computer does. And RTX in Minecraft, it looks really cool, but it's also very system resource heavy. Now, I should have designed this so there's nothing that should spawn in these tunnels. Oh, Delvin, I keep forgetting, what's the Mac key command for the statistics? So I can see what level I'm at. Here's something. Nearby. This is all sealed, which is good. Yes, I think I remember. It was in that little cavern area here. Stalactites and stalagmites. Now we are in the uncontrolled. Here's something. A spider. I don't have enough to. Spider. Okay. I always get the chills whenever I'm in an unexplored area. Oh my. almost. I didn't die. That's the good. Just a little too dark over here. I think this is a structure. Gonna go back because I wasn't prepared. Do a lot of deep exploring. Wow, that is. Oh my god. Keyboard lost control. We're gonna go back and we're gonna steal that back on. One more. There. Nope. That is the same spot. There. Okay. Whew. How often do super outbreaks of tornadoes occur anyways? Command or function F3. There we go. Function F3. Thank you. And where are we? Wow, we must be getting low because I'm at negative 95. Oh, sorry, negative 29. How far down does it go? Do you remember, Delvin, in the update? Okay. See, got. Oh, right. Moves I put the block. That down here. Your skeleton. Dark. Go back. Duck. Yes, I did cause a flash flood in my mind. Negative 64 is the new limit. Okay. Negative 64. We're at negative 39. Go back to the shaft. And maybe where it came from. Not working. Hey, yes. There's the stairs. So, maybe keep digging down this way until I can't anymore. We're doing some true mining right now for Minecraft. I hear a skeleton. I think I would feel safer. I can block those two other ways. Don't have enough for that. I'm gonna go back. I prefer dirt. It's easier to work with. And cobblestone. Let's block these off there. I can't get down. I don't think a spider can get through. Is one spider. That's something I can deal with. Yeah, I flooded my own mine. Oh, there it is. Oh no. That was an interesting sound. Okay, and we're back at the top. Oh, interesting. It shows when I was in the water. Falling falls, because you can't fall into the water and die. We'll just slowly sink. Ever gone sword fishing before? Okay. Oh. I thought something was getting me. I forgot I needed air. Sounds like a Pokemon game, yeah? Well, let's have some cooked salmon. That should heal me. Once we make the boat, now. Oak planks. There we go. Boat. There's the boat. See how it goes across this. Guessing it. Oh, it is fine. Feels speedy. Onward, said the skipper. Did I leave any fish behind? That was just the one. There's a wolf. Ooh, this is slippery too. Sheep. Okay, that's good to know. And there was nothing beyond this way. Nothing beyond that way. Let's see what's around this way. Feels like I'm just doubling back a little bit. And that's a dead end. Oh, is it a dead end? Yes. Go this way. That. There. Oh, snow. Over in here. I forgot how to get out of the boat. That is the lead into some ice the boat cannot go through. Oh, there's some coal. Know where I can get some coal. Pickaxe. See if I can get out of... Oh, there we go. Correct, originally it was shift. This. Down it for the coal that was. Alright. And back to the house. That's probably gonna call it for the night as well. Look at the sunset. Ooh, something tried to shoot me. Okay. And we are in the safety of the hen house. Alright, that is going to call it for tonight. Alright. With that. Cool. So, thank you all for joining, Delvin and Raymond. It has been a pleasure as always. We got to learn a little bit about some preparedness. I use the ham radio here, so can't broadcast yet on ham because I don't have my ham license, but it's still a weather radio, and I could unofficially use this for GMRS, which I do have a GMRS license, and I do have another GMRS specific radio, so I can use that. But we are entering into hurricane season. I know we shall see, and we talked about the references for if this is going to be a 60% above normal season, but we shall see what happens. So if you're new to the channel and you're just watching, thank you for watching. So besides gaming and weather forecast, the other thing I have out is Electrified Weatherman. The electrified part is electric vehicle stuff. So I do have a Tesla Model 3 and I have a Harley Davidson Livewire. So I'm all electric with my vehicles and pretty much all electric everywhere. Electric apartment, no gas, electric vehicles. I am the future, I guess. But anyway, if you want to learn a little bit more about the latest weather forecast, learn a little bit more about my transition to an all-electric vehicle process, hit that little subscribe button below, and then the bell icon right next to that, so you get notified whenever I go live like this, or I do upload videos, and I should have some more Harley Davidson Livewire videos coming out very shortly. All right. Again, Delvin Raymond, thank you for the chat as always. It was a pleasure. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, and I will see you all in the next video.